some quick info on the Eero 6 tri-band compared to the Eero 6 dual band. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm a regular guy, I'm just putting up this video to help others, but I believe this info is correct. They both use Bluetooth low energy. That's probably just for setup. They both have the auto sensing ports, so you could automatically plug it into your WAN or LAN port and it automatically sends, and it'll work just fine. I'm not sure, I couldn't find any info on it. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you could bridge them. So once I have one of them connected, and in the app it shows wired, I actually have this one for now physically connected to a switch of mine, and it shows wired instead of wireless, and devices are connecting to this, but it shows wired on the app. So I'm wondering if it's sending the traffic wirelessly or through the switch. Either way, doesn't matter because it has its own dedicated line to communicate. So in either way, it's not going to slow down the actual Eero. The processor, this is a 1.2 gigahertz quad core processor, the Eero 2 dual. The Eero 6 dual band is a 1.6 gigahertz quad core processor. This one, the Eero 6 tri-band, has a 1.4 quad core processor, so it's a little bit faster CPU wise. The RAM is the biggest difference. This has 512 megabytes of RAM, the dual, and the tri has 1024 or 1024 megabytes of RAM, both megabytes. Storage is the same, 4 gigs. Each device, the dual band has a Wi-Fi coverage of 1,500 square feet, and the tri-band has a coverage of 2,000 square feet. So in my case, that extra 500 square feet helped in getting through that issue I was having with the actual mesh in the wall. This is the Eero 6 dual band Wi-Fi. I wouldn't really call it a mesh. I don't know if they call it a mesh router. I'm a regular guy. I think they call it a mesh router. So I don't know all the details. Like I said, I'm a regular guy. I just buy things, try them out. Anyway, my issue is that this has been working just fine with no issues whatsoever around the home. And I have 6 of them. We have it's about a 1,400, 1,500 square foot apartment. And we had no issues for the most part for most of the apartment. Connectivity for the kids' rooms, no issues whatsoever, nothing. My biggest problem is that it is January of 2022, and my wife, like many other Americans today, and many other people from other countries, I'm assuming, are working from home. So my wife, I had one of these near the main unit, which is in the living room. It was next to our where we keep our desk for the office area. It was in the office area, and she had no issues working from there. The problem is that she's now working from her bedroom. She's made a little area for her to work at so that she can have constant privacy. But in her bedroom, which is weird, and it's only in her bedroom, the rest of the apartment is fine. Wi-Fi connectivity is horrific, horrible. Let me just show you. So I connected and I disconnected from my Wi-Fi network and connected right when I'm sitting, right when I put the tablet right next to this device so that it connects to this device. So that way I'm sure it's connected to this device. You're gonna see this is from the actual main unit, the 300 and the 200. I have Verizon Fios 200 guaranteed. Well, they guarantee 160, I believe, up and down. But it's a 200 meg internet speed that I'm paying for. And the 200 and the 200 are my but that's not the guaranteed rate. I think they told me the guaranteed rate, which is what they have to always give you, I think it's around 160. Anyway, that being said, the issue I'm having is that in the rest of the apartment, I'm getting these kinds of speed, 3, 2, 3, 400 sometimes up and down. But watch what happens now that I've moved into the bedroom where my wife works out of, the master bedroom. The door is closed, and the issue we're having is that we can't leave the door open. When we open up the door, it's better Wi-Fi signal, but the door has to stay closed for her to work. Now the Eero 6 works dual band Wi-Fi router, works great. We just have a unique issue, and I couldn't find it on YouTube or on the internet, my issue. So that's the speeds I'm getting. So hopefully there are people who are running into my issue that this video could help. It's not distance, because I have enough. I have 6 of these all around the home, and they work just fine for the most part, for most of the home. My biggest problem is interference. So let me just show you. As you can see, 7.3 and 1.18. Then I'm going to go to another area in the home, and you're going to see a huge difference in speed. As a matter of fact, I'll go right across the hall. There's a hallway between this bedroom and my son's bedroom. I'll go into my son's bedroom. I'll do a Wi-Fi speed test, and I'll show you the biggest difference. But before we go there, I want to tell you what's going on. So this is my wall. My apartment building was built in the 1930s. When it was built, we've done some construction in the apartment. We've knocked down some of these walls. So we observed that when this apartment building was built, they didn't use sheetrock or any type of walls or any type of wood-made walls or wood panel. What they did is that behind this wall, this is an original wall, they have a wood frame. And the frame is odd. I mean, it goes up, but it doesn't do the 16 inches. It kind of goes Z-shaped. It's a weird way that they did the design for the wood. So certain areas don't have wood. Well, you know what? I take that back. There are lines of wood, but they're connected with other pieces of wood. But besides that point, I've tried to use a stud finder so that I can screw into a frame wood. You can't use a stud finder because of the interference, and I'm going to explain that to you now. And that's why I'm also having the problem with the Wi-Fi interference. So you have the wood frame, and then you have a metal mesh. It's a metal mesh that goes across the wood frame and stapled down. Hammered down or stapled down? I think it's stapled down. It's been a while since one of these walls were opened. Then after that, they plastered the wall on. They basically like painted the wall on or used plaster. There's a specific term for it, but they actually made the wall with, I forget what you call those things. And the wall was created by pasting it on or painting it on or putting it on to the wall, to the mesh, metal mesh. Okay, so it's not a standard sheetrock wall. It's another type of wall. It's made up, I don't know the actual material, but it's a white substance material. Anyway, the biggest problem we're having is that metal mesh. That metal mesh between the walls causes a lot of interference and problems. If we were still using the wireless phones from back in the day, you remember you used to pick up your neighbor's conversations, those wireless phones that you used to pull out the antenna, it probably wouldn't work well if you left the room because of this metal mesh. It's like having a lot of file cabinets. If you're having issues with, if you have file cabinets in a room, you may have issues from interference from that metal, just to let you know, for Wi-Fi issues. So I'm having Wi-Fi issues, as you just saw, you know, with the speeds we have, because of that metal mesh. Now the problem is that she also loses connection. So she's doing Zoom streaming and FaceTime streaming, and it's disconnecting her, and she's working. She can't have that happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy the Eero 6 Pro. I'm going to buy the 3-pack just in case, but I hope I can get away with just using one, and I'll just buy the one single router. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one as the main unit, or the unit that's connected to my Fios modem, and see if I get an improvement in Wi-Fi from that. Okay, so let's take a screenshot of that so I can have it at the end. So then we'll do it before and after. So I'm going to Micro Center now to purchase the 3-unit system, just in case I actually need to put another tri-band unit here, which I think I may have to, but let's see what happens. So that being said, let me show you the speed in another room right across the way. So before we do the speed test, I just want to let you know this wall in my son's room, right on the other side, is the main unit. So that's why his signal is so much better, because he only has one wall. But in my wife's case, in the master bedroom, the main unit has to go through this wall, through another wall in the hall, then through another wall in the hall leading to the master bedroom, which is causing the interference. And that's, I'm pretty sure, I've had this issue in the past. So we are now in my son's room. Let's see if let's see the difference. So remember that speed. Wow, what a difference. So my problem is interference, and I'm hoping that one of those routers can fix it instead of having all 3 of them. But it's not a distance issue. We live in a small apartment, and one unit should be able to cover the complete apartment. But because, like I told you, the metal mesh in the walls are causing interference, the Wi-Fi signal is horrific. Also, we're battling for channels with other Wi-Fi units, so that's the problem. Okay, so let's try this again, see if we can get a better upload. But as you can see, the download is perfect. And like I said, I pay for 200 up and down. All right, so let's see even if the Eero 6 Pro can give more of a consistent upload in his room. Now, I'm gonna mix the units with the Eero Pro and the Eero 6 dual band with the Eero Pro 6 tri-band. Now, the difference between the tri-band and the dual band, it's basically, to my understanding, is the dual band has a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi signal and a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi signal. So these 2.4s and the 2.4 is used for distance. So if you're far away, you'll probably use that channel more than the 5 gigahertz. The 5 gigahertz channel, it's more broad, it's wider, so more data comes in and out, but you have to be closer to the units to receive that. So in the apartment, I should be getting 5 gigahertz everywhere I go. The only issue is that the 5 gigahertz, I believe, on the dual band router, the Eero 6, is used for data for Wi-Fi units, you know, your tablet, your phone, and your computer, plus for the units to communicate with each other. So that bandwidth, that 5 gigahertz frequency, the bandwidth is reduced because of the communication that has to take place between each unit. When you have a tri-band unit, to my understanding, when you have a tri-band, you have one 2.4 gigahertz, one 5 gigahertz, two 5 gigahertz. So what happens there is that the 2.4 gigahertz, the first frequency, is used for data for computers, tablets, and phones. And then the 5 gigahertz, the first 5 gigahertz, is also used for data for computers, tablets, and so on. The third 5 gigahertz is used for communication among the units. So the overhead on the actual units, it's reduced because of the fact that one channel is dedicated to communication between the units, and that way you don't take away from the data, you know, downloading a page, surfing the web, streaming video. So let's hope it works. You know, it's ridiculous on how expensive these units have gotten, but you know, I guess it's a lot better than buying a Cisco router. All right, so let me go to Micro Center and go purchase it. I'm purchasing it at Micro Center because if you use their credit card, you get a 5% off. I just picked it up from B&H instead of Best Buy. I was going to purchase it at Best Buy, but I purchased it at B&H. And again, I'm going to try it first with just one, with the router being replaced. I'm going to replace one of these. I'm going to put one of these and replace the main router unit connected to my ISP, the Fios ISP, and see if it makes a difference just by having this as the main one. And again, like I told you, my problem is interference, not distance. All right, let's do a quick unboxing. So this is everything that comes inside. And if you've seen my videos in the past, I measure things and I weigh things. So we'll do that. We'll measure the length of the cable. For the power, they give you one Ethernet. I think it's 1.5 feet long. We'll measure that. And some information. This will be at the end. The paperwork information. Quick start guide. The app is pretty straightforward. It didn't take long for me to set it up. I have, just to give you an idea, my current setup is 6 Eero 6 dual band routers. I'll bring one out so I can show you. The one I'm going to replace, I'll show you where I'm going to swap out one of the main units, one of the Eero 6 tri-bands for one of the Eero 6 dual bands. And I'll give you some information on the differences. So the measurement for the Ethernet cable is, I'm assuming it's a Cat 6 cable, because I don't see any Cat 5s. It could be a Cat 5e, not sure. That supports Gigabit, since the ports are Gigabit. So it's almost 3 feet long. Almost a 3-foot Ethernet cable. Now the power supply cable, power connection, USB-C, is, and I have pictures at the end if you need to replace this and you need the specs back here. They're at the end. So now let's measure the cable for power. And that is going to be almost 5 feet. Almost 5 feet long. All right, so it's not too bad. One thing I noticed between the Eero 6 Pro and the Eero 6 is the weight. So this is hefty. So let's weigh this, and we'll weigh the other one also. See how much one of these weigh. Hold on, let me reset. All right, let's try that again. That's the weight. And I'll weigh the other one to see what happens. Oh, I should say, to see the difference in weight. This is a speed test I just did on my Apple device. I'm using the newest Apple device. I don't even know anymore, Apple TV 4 or 5. Anyway, I have the Speed app, and the Apple media player is physically connected using Ethernet to a Gigabit switch, which is connected to the actual Eero 6 dual band, the old one. I'm setting up the new one right now, which is right there, and I'm going to replace it. But before I replace it, let me do a speed test also on the physical connection to see if that makes a big difference. And again, I'm supposed to be getting 200 up and down. So it's half the speed. I just want to see if it makes a big difference. I really don't care. This is enough. 90. I mean, HD, I think you only need 7 down. So this should be more than enough for my Apple Media Player. On my computers, I get 200. All right, so this is what I'm getting. And let me see if it makes a big difference when I switch the old router. I'm gonna switch the old router, which is this one. It's connected through my ISP, as you can see right there. It's the files. With the new one. So let's see what happens. So one of the nice things is that when you mix and match the Eero 6 dual band with the Eero 6 Pro tri-band, the actual device is displayed on whatever room or name you give it, so you can know the difference. So that's the Eero 6, and the Eero 6 Pro, as you can see, is living room, so that you don't get mixed up, because I'm giving the living room name to the Eero 6 Pro, because that's where my ISP comes through. So there won't be any confusion when I'm looking for the Eero dual band. There won't, that one's also named living room, but because it's shown, the actual unit itself is specified on the devices that come up on the Eero. So I know that one's the Eero Pro 6, and the other one's just the Eero 6 dual band. And I won't get confused and have to unplug and figure out which one's which. So that's pretty cool. So before I go further with replacing the old unit with the new one, let me just do a quick speed test on the old one. This is the Eero 6 dual band. This is the gateway, the main one connected to my ISP. So let me run a speed test, which I just did. Speed test is complete, and it's great. It has a great speed up and down. Again, I'm paying for 200. It's giving me over 300, both of them, down and up. Pretty cool. All right, so let's replace that one with the new unit and see if we can just see a big difference. So I just switched it over. This will be the gateway. Now, to my understanding, it will it'll automatically sense the gateway router by itself. So I just swapped it out. I didn't do anything special. So let's see if it's just easy plug and play swapping out type of setup. The install again with the app, easy, no issues whatsoever. It's red right there. Let's hope for the best. And it is a lot bigger, and I'll do some comparisons. I'll do the weight of the other one and put them on top of each other to show you the difference in size. I just finished running the speed test. It's a little bit better. 310 and 345. All right, let me show you. Well, you know what? Let's try that room now with the gateway being the main router now. The Eero 6 Pro tri-band router. So let's see what speeds we get in that room again. Now that we replaced the gateway router with the Eero 6 Pro tri-band, let's see if we see a difference in the bedroom where we were having the original issue, which was no bandwidth. If I remember correctly, it was 7 down and 1 point something up. So I'm paying for 200 up and down. So let's see if we get that now with the gateway router, the ISP router, the one connected to the ISP, being the Eero 6 Pro, see if it makes a big difference. Again, the one in the bedroom is an Eero 6 dual band, not tri-band, dual band. So let's see if it makes a difference with connectivity and any other issues. Okay, let's see if it makes a difference. Wow, what a difference. What a difference. Wow. I have no idea why I'm having issues in this one room, but the download is working, which is what she needs the most. It's working just fine. Let me try it again. It improved it big time compared to what it was. I was getting what, 7? Okay, just third time's a charm. And it looks like I'm going to actually try, just for this room, I'm gonna have to use one of the tri-band to see if it makes a big difference also. It's a big difference. It did improve the signal. Again, I'm having issues, I believe, because of the wall and the metal mesh. And it has improved it. It's usable. I can use that type of internet. You know, as long as it's faster than dial-up, that's all I care about. It's maybe, what, DSL speed? But it's much better. All right, now let's try switching the old one with the new tri-band one to see if we get a big difference. Okay, I just switched out the Eero 6 dual band with one of the Eero 6 Pro tri-bands. So let's see if there's a difference between replacing this one. Now, as you saw, with the Eero 6 Pro being my gateway router, the one connected to my ISP modem, it made a big difference in communication, and my speed went from, what did I say? I think I was doing 7 down and 1 up. I went back up to, if I remember correctly, I believe over 100 meg down, and I don't remember what I was doing up. It wasn't bad, probably 10 or something. So now that we have replaced the, because I'm curious to see what happens. So she's having so much issues in this room. I might just keep this one here. So I'll probably just end up leaving this one here and keep the third one for a backup, or maybe put it on somewhere else. But for now, let's test it. This is actually replacing the dual band one with the tri-band one, and see if we see a big difference. And in all instances, I made sure that my iPad was connected to those, to the closest Eero. And look at that. What a difference. Wow. Yep, what a difference. Yep, no issues whatsoever. Wow, this is excellent, excellent. Wow, what a difference with the tri-band. Like I told you before, the tri-band, the biggest plus about it is that one of the bands are used to communicate and they leave the other two for communication. So there's a lot more spectrum, a lot more frequency left out for data. So you get things like this. That, excellent, excellent. What a difference. I am very happy with the purchase. I wish, I mean, I never thought that one day I would be spending $400 for a system. It's ridiculous, but what are you going to do? Reminds me of Cisco prices. Okay, 146, 125. I am totally happy. So as you saw, huge improvement. Very happy with the purchase. But again, you already know that. Big difference in the issue I was having in the room. No more problems. It's gone. So like I said, it's not a distance issue for me. It was an interference issue with me, with the metal mesh. I mean, it causes havoc. So hopefully this will resolve my Wi-Fi issues. Now, well, it looks like it has. Now, like I said, I'm using both the Eero dual band with the tri-band, and you saw the improvement when I used the Eero tri-band as a gateway. It improved the signal to the dual band. It just did. I don't know all the particulars about it, but it did. So anyway, I had weighed this. Now let's weigh the old one. Let's do this again. Okay, that's the new tri-band. So you can see the biggest difference between the heft. Okay. Big difference. A lot of weight difference. Smaller, so you can see it looks like it's about 25 to 30%, maybe 40% of the actual size of the tri-band, the dual band. It's much smaller. This is the router version of the ports. They all have Gigabit ports. Very heavy. The adapters, this is the tri-band adapter, power adapter. This is the dual band adapter. A lot bigger power supply. About 30% more. Okay, and some quick info on the Eero 6 tri-band compared to the Eero 6 dual band. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm a regular guy, I'm just putting up this video to help others, but I believe this info is correct. They both use Bluetooth low energy. That's probably just for setup. They both have the auto sensing ports, so you could automatically plug it into your WAN or LAN port and it automatically sends and it'll work just fine. I'm not sure, I couldn't find any info on it. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you could bridge them. So once I have one of them connected and in the app it shows wired, I actually have this one for now physically connected to a switch of mine and it shows wired instead of wireless, and devices are connecting to this, but it shows wired on the app. So I'm wondering if it's sending the traffic wirelessly or through the switch. Either way, it doesn't matter because it has its own dedicated line to communicate. So in either way, it's not going to slow down the actual Eero. The processor, this is a 1.2 gigahertz quad core processor. The Eero 2 dual. The Eero 6 dual band is a 1.6 gigahertz quad core processor. This one, the Eero 6 tri-band, has a 1.4 quad-core processor, so it's a little bit faster CPU-wise. The RAM is the biggest difference. This has 512 megabytes of RAM, the dual, and the tri has 1024 or 1024 megabytes of RAM, both megabytes. Storage is the same, 4 gigs. Each device, the dual band has a Wi-Fi coverage of 1,500 square feet, and the tri-band has a coverage of 2,000 square feet. So in my case, that extra 500 square feet helped in getting through that issue I was having with the actual mesh in the wall. All right, I guess I'm done with the video. I hope you liked it. I hope it helps. And if you have any questions, just ask them below. But I'm a regular guy. I'm not a super duper guy. So, but I usually answer as soon as I get the question or when I definitely get a chance. So I hope it helps. Thank you very much. Bye.
Cover your home with fast and reliable Wi-Fi connectivity with the Eero Pro 6 AX4200 wireless 3-band Gigabit mesh Wi-Fi system. Each device in this 3-pack can be configured as an 802.11ax mesh router or satellite, covering up to 6,000 square feet and providing up to 4,200 MBs of bandwidth over the 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz frequencies while communicating to each other using a dedicated 5 GHz signal. The Gigabit Ethernet ports automatically detect cable DSL modems and connections to wired devices such as computers, video game consoles, and smart TVs. You can further expand Wi-Fi coverage by adding compatible Eero Pro 6 devices to the mesh network for smooth video streaming, online gaming, and video chat experiences as you move across your home. You can quickly configure, manage, and monitor your network using the Eero app for iOS and Android devices. Fast Wi-Fi. Each Eero Pro 6 802.11ax mesh Wi-Fi device is designed to deliver up to 4,200 MBs of bandwidth over the 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz frequencies while communicating with each other using a dedicated 5 GHz signal. Unified network. Mesh networks use a single network EEP, providing you with a smooth and reliable Wi-Fi experience as you travel from room to room while streaming video, playing games, and more. Each Eero Pro 6 device can be configured to work as a router when connected to a cable DSL modem or as a satellite. Wide coverage. This Eero Pro 6 mesh Wi-Fi system is designed to provide up to 6,000 square feet of coverage. You can expand that coverage by adding Eero Pro 6 devices to the network. Amazon Alexa. Issue voice commands to manage your network, including setting up parental controls and setting up a guest login, using an Amazon Alexa compatible device. Smart home connectivity. A Zigbee smart home hub is built into the Eero Pro 6, which allows you to connect and control supported lights, plugs, and other devices through Amazon Alexa without having to use a separate smart hub. Secured. Your wireless signal is protected by WPA2 AES and WPA3 personal encryption. Wired connections. Each Eero Pro 6 device includes 2 Gigabit Ethernet ports, which automatically detect whether they're connected to a cable DSL modem or wired devices such as computers, video game consoles, and smart TVs. Eero AX4200 specs. Number of units 3. Connectivity. Wi-Fi 6, 802.11ax, Tree band, 2.4 and 5 plus 5 GHz. Ports each unit. 2x RJ45 Gigabit Ethernet 1 LAN. MU-MIMO support 2x2. Beamforming support yes. Wireless security WPA2, WPA3. Bluetooth 5.0 LE. Communication protocol Zigbee. Virtual assistant support Amazon Alexa. General. Throughput 4200 MBS total. Guest network support yes. Mobile operating system support Android. iOS. Operation modes access point, mesh, wireless router. Supported IEEE standards 802.11 AC, 802.11 AX, 802.11A, 802.11B, 802.11 grams, 802.11N. Hardware. Processor 1.4 GHz quad-core. Memory 1024 MB. Flash memory 4 GB. Speakers none. Built-in microphones none. Display none. Electrical. AC input power 100 to 240 W, 50-60 Hz. Power consumption 15 W. Environmental. Operating temperature 32 to 104 degrees F0 to 40 degrees C. Physical. IP rating none. Dimensions 5.3 x 5.3 x 2.1 inches 134.6 x 134.5 x 52.6 millimeters. Package and info. Package weight 6.96 pounds. Box dimensions LXWXH, 19.9 x 7.8 x 4.3 inches.